Hello guys, this is a Chevy Suburban. I have this truck has a little problem with the oil pressure gauge. Right now I have a key on. All other gauges are showing, the voltage and the temperature and the fuel level, but oil pressure is stuck on high. So when I cycle the key, it goes back down. Cycle the key back on, goes all the way up to max. And stays on max. So seems like my gauge is working okay. It goes from 0 to 8. That these clusters are prone to, bad gauges and those stepper motors, but this one seemed to be working okay. So let's just go to a data feeds real quick. I'm gonna go to a IPC instrument panel or cluster. Display. I can go display codes to see if there are any codes or not. I'm sorry. No codes. Active history codes. Nothing. It is so hot today. Whew. Okay, so let's see some data. Display and here. There's oil pressure. It reads 84. Yeah, 84 psi. Okay, so I'm going to turn so the way this works, actually, this is a 3-wire sensor. It's a 5-volt reference, and there's a 5-volt reference, ground, and the signal wire, and it's connected to a PCM. So the PCM will actually send the data through a communication line to IPC, and IPC will display the pressure. So again, now we're reading 84 psi. The spec on this thing is like minimum. I couldn't find the maximum pressure, but the minimum is 6 psi at 1000 RPM and 24 psi at 4000 RPM. So we are way over the. I mean, that's minimum, but again, I'm not sure what the maximum is. But we are reading at 84 psi at the idle. So that's way too much. So I'm just gonna shut the car off, turn the key back on, and you can see that we went to 0 and went back again to 84 psi. So again, there's something something electrically wrong with this. So we have to go to a sensor and do some tests on the sensor to see if we have some electrical problem or something that's going on. So now with this one, this is a resistor. With a higher pressure, resistance increases. With lower pressure, resistance decreases. It will go down. So it kind of follows the pressure. So higher pressure, high resistance. Lower pressure, lower resistance. The oil pressure is, again, it's a 3-wire. Here's the wiring diagram. We have a black wire, that's our low reference, a ground. Tan and white is a signal wire, and a gray is a 5-volt reference. And then you can see there's a so that's the power control module, and then it will class 2 serial data. It will communicate with the instrument panel, and the instrument panel will display the pressure according to input from the power control module. On the power control module, there are no other inputs other than just like a switch OK. That's all it says. There are no voltage readings, anything like that. So so pressure switch, it's located in here. Let's see. So right there is a connector. There's a black guy there. So let's see. Right there, that's the connector. So I'm going to do some checks and see, what the deal is. Okay, Well, fortunately, I don't have the voltage reading that I can find in the kids. So now I see, some kind of pressure, which is not normal, of course, but I'm not sure, what voltage I'm supposed to see. So the first I'm gonna back from my signal wire and see what voltage we're gonna have. I'm gonna use, just yesterday I made some custom back probes. I made this long back probe. I'm gonna make a video how I made all these attachments, and this has actually come real handy, to get down to a because the location you see that's behind the engine, it's very hard to get to it. So these long pins will really come handy. So I got my voltmeter on the DC volts, and I'm going to my negative lead is on the ground, and positive lead I'm going to back from my tan and white wire, see what kind of voltage we're going to have. Oh, okay. Looks like obviously they okay. It's a little tough shot to get down to it. Because all pretty close. Okay, here we go. Now this is my signal wire, and I'm reading a little bit over 3 volts. So now looking at the diagram, one of the problems is we could have a, this wire could be short to power somewhere. We could have a problem with the ground wire. If the ground is not good, the sensor cannot pull this voltage down, and the 5-volt ref probably it's fine because it would not have a high voltage in the first place. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off the car and see if this voltage is going to go down to 0. If it goes down to 0, well, technically I should not have anything that showed it to power, but we'll check that as well. So let's just wait a little bit. And there you go, it goes down to 0. And my scan tool looks like it's stuck on the. It's not communicating anymore. It's just stuck on the same value because it's not cartridge. The PCM is off. Okay. Turn the key back on. There you go. And we're going back to 3.3 volts again. So next, I'm going to check my 5-volt ref. This is going to be a ground wire. I'm going to expect to see the problem with that. And I'm having a 4.98, so that's good. And the next I'm going to check my ground wire. It's my black wire. And having a 0 volts, but I'm going to disconnect the sensor anyway now because I want to do some more checks. But I'm going to take a test light to test this ground wire. Actually, well, I can just move my lead to positive and see if am I a good wire or not. There you go. I'm reading 12.3 volts, so that's my good ground. I just moved my negative lead to battery positive, and so I can read that. So this is a good ground. So there's nothing wrong with the ground, nothing wrong with the 5-volt ref, and I'm just gonna check the integrity of the signal wire. Maybe with reading a high volt, that's fine. It's already good. But I'll do it anyway. I'm going to unplug the connector now. It's pretty loaded actually. And, I can see our pressure drops down to 0. So that pretty much tells us that's fine. But what I'm going to do now, I use a little gadget. So first I'm going to backprobe my signal wire now. Since I got my connector unplugged, I'm going to backprobe brown and white wire. Okay. Okay, so what I can do next, I can use my Vantage and put in a diode mode, and that's going to bring the voltage up to 5 volts, and it should bring it should read the maximum voltage. So I'll disconnect it for now. So I'm going to go to a diodes and continuity, and this actually uses 5 volts for the diode test, and when I connect it so it's open OL, you can see that my pressure goes at 136, it's maximum pressure. So now I know that my signal wire is okay. So that's one way. The other way I can do it, I have this little and I should have my voltmeter hooked up to this just to look at the voltage, but I don't have to do that. I had this little instrument, I got it like a month ago. This is a waveform generator. It's like $20 from China, and this little guy can send a sound wave or square wave or triangle wave, whatever. But also it can send just a straight voltage. So the way it works, you just plug into the USB port, and it will power up the tool. And I'm going to go to a DC offset, and you can see I got like a 3.5 volts right now, and I can change it. It can go up to the, I believe 10 or 12 volts. Let me see, 8, 9. So anyway, I'm going to use it. Of course, I'm going to set it at 5 volts, and I'm going to go down and all the way down to 1 volt, and we're gonna see the reading on how our pressure responds to that. So basically, this is a BNC connector. I connect it to my voltmeter. I know it's a little complicated, but it's kind of fun to do. And so I'm just gonna put it here, and I'm gonna connect my ground lead to ground, and now I'm gonna connect my positive lead to my Okay, so the ground is going to go to ground. And this output voltage I'm just going to connect to my wire that I back from my signal wire. So let me get something else real quick. Yeah, this is not necessary because we already see high volts on the signal wire. Our signal wire is fine, but I just want to show you this little gadget. It's kind of cool. And all right, so we are at 5 volts right now. We're reading a maximum pressure, 143, and I'm just going to start decreasing the voltage slowly, and the computer is going to respond to that. And so yeah, okay, so guys, so okay, 5 volts. I'm going down to 3. I mean 4, and then 4.7. You can see how our pressure is going down. This is just a quick way to check our integrity of our signal wire. Of course, we can simply jump our 5 volt ref to our signal wire. That will work as well. But I'm at 0.9 volts. I'm all the way down to 0 right now, and we're just reading 0 volts means 0 psi. 5 volts means 143 psi. So I'm going back up again, and you can see that our voltage is rising. I mean our pressure. So okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna beat this to death. But all right. So that's it. And we need a new oil pressure switch. I'm gonna talk to the owner, see if he wants to do it or not. It's a friend of mine, but he wants to sell this car, so he might consider buying the pressure switch. If he does, I will definitely. If he wants to do it, I'll definitely, change it, and we'll repeat the test. All right, I think this was kind of fun, but all right, guys. Well, appreciate you so much, and see you next time.